Good morning. This is Angela with today's Cuppa. In all these webcasts, most of them, I come back to this time and time again. I come back to talking about the importance of the very basics of being able to listen to our higher selves, of quieting the chatter in our minds so that we can clear the path, so that we can connect with our higher selves actively, as well as with Creator, as well as with any guides of the highest light. And that's becoming more and more and more important as we go. Because no matter what goes on around us, no matter how chaotic it gets, no matter how many different messages you're seeing every day, if you have those basics down and you know how to discern that voice of the higher self and to discern that voice of Creator and to trust that connection, then the less you have to listen to the chatter and the chaos, and the more you can come from peace and calm and stillness within. And the more you can be assured that you are taking the right path and taking the right steps, even if you can't see what's, in the future ahead of where you're going. That goes back to what I've talked about many times on how we've done such a fantastic job on the ego running this level of our consciousness. And in doing so, the ego is sort of like that pawn on the playboard. And I know I've said this a zillion times, but it is. It's like the pawn on a playing board of a board game. And it can see the spaces in front of us. It can see the spaces behind us and to the sides. And it can see what the other players, other pawns on the board are doing. But if there's a blockade in front of us and we don't know what to do, or we panic, or we, go into this fight or flight mode and all that kind of stuff, that's all ego driven. The higher self is the player on the board. Not only that, but then the higher self is when it creates the board to begin with. And so we can see from the higher self perspectives that we can't see from this ground level in the trenches, from the consciousness level of the ego at the 3D level. So that's why it's so important to do this basic exercise of being able to tap in and connect. Because if you can connect, if the pawn at the board can connect with the player and then say, okay, you see the whole board, what's the best way for us to take that's going to be with the most grace and ease? And and trust and have faith that the higher self that's playing the game or looking at the board or creating the board has our highest and best interest in mind, has at heart, actually, then it makes it so easy to be able to trust and have faith. This is becoming so important. And the reason being is that things are moving so fast, we are losing our time to think. We are becoming much more intuitive driven and much more heart driven. And to do that, we have to trust our hearts and trust our souls and trust our higher self. We are going through this period of huge expansion. And it's sort of like, I always explain this when I talk to people as, it's similar to the way I see it. It's similar to the way that water starts, like the molecules in water start to get really crazy and really fast right before it starts to boil. And when that starts, the process of the water turning into gas and steam. That's sort of like what we're going through now. We have this freneticism that's going on, and all of this stuff that's going on around us, and so much is going on, and so much to process, and on so many levels at once. So the brain tries to engage, the ego tries to engage, and sort of freezes up a lot and says, what the heck, I can't do this. I don't know what to do. So the more we train ourselves now, it's not too late, it's never too late. The more we train ourselves now to be able to shut out the chatter and to listen to that stillness, to be in the stillness and listen to the voice that comes through it, the better off we're going to be and the more grace and ease we're going to have of it. As we go along here, there are things that are shifting. There are major things that are shifting in our world, and we see that going on around us. More and more, we are getting messages from our higher self saying, time to move here, time to go here, time to see this person, time to do this, time to change careers, time to change families, time to leave the situation you're in. And when that comes from pure higher self and pure heart without the ego, like doing something from fight or flight, or doing it from, fear or anger or resentment or anything else. When that calm, sure voice comes through and says, it is time to do this. If we can trust it and we know how to discern that voice, then we know we can go in the quickest and easiest and most advantageous path for us. And I know a lot of people say, oh, well, it's easy for you to say. And you start somewhere. All of us start somewhere. And yes, we can learn how to discern the voice of our higher self. And it just takes a little bit of practice. It takes us actually sitting down and being able to calm our mind, whether it is in a formal meditation, whether it is running or walking or hiking or yoga or mowing the lawn. I had somebody tell me that, one of the best times for the chatter to quieten her mind was when she mowed her lawn. Great. Whatever it takes. So whatever it is, and here's the thing, regardless of, we walk around and we say, we have 50 things to do today. I have 100 things to do today. I have to see all these people. I have to do all these things. I just don't have time for meditation. I don't have time to take care of myself. I don't have time to work out. Guess what? Who is most important? I've said this before. I've said this in many other blogs and webcasts and stuff. It is time to love ourselves. It is time to come back to taking care of ourselves, because in doing that, in being able to clear ourselves out and raising our vibration and raising our light and making it brighter, we are helping everybody around us, because that happens by proxy. And we are all connected as one. So we are part of the light, regardless of how we, are looking at it. We spend all our time for other people. We spend all our time focusing on other people. And now, guess what? We're remembering it is so important to take care of ourselves first. In the heart way, in the way of coming up and bringing our light up and bringing our vibration up, because in doing that, we're helping everybody else. So it's a win-win situation. So my recommendation is, regardless of what's in your life, regardless of how busy you are and how many hours you work or how many hours you're doing this, it is time to quiet the noise, to quiet the chatter, because it is becoming so much more pertinent. And it's happening now. People are hearing things coming through from their higher self telling them, it's time to do this, it's time to do this, it's time to do this. And what do? They put it off. They put it off because the ego is trying to interfere and going, oh, no, we can't because of this. We can't because of this, and we can't. Well, guess what? It will come back, and it will come back, and it will come back until it has become an emergency situation, and you are pushed to do it without choice, without a graceful and easy choice, So keep that in mind. And I am the furthest away from trying to instill fear or anything into anybody, because that's not the way I'm motivated. I am just saying that my whole goal is to do the path, do the spiritual journey with grace and ease and balance and harmony and joy and excitement, adventure and humor and love, and to throw away that trauma, drama, and illness. And what happens when we ignore the voice of the higher self, and we ignore it and we ignore it and we ignore it, even if it doesn't make sense logically from where we see it on the playing board, then many times we get to the point where our backs up against the wall and the bomb goes off under our butts, and then we have no choice but to listen to the higher self, because then we're just sort of thrown that way. So grace and ease and balance and harmony and joy and fun and all that kind of stuff. So on that, our clearing for today is just to know how to do this, just to be able to discern the voice of the higher self. So would you like, and here's my cosmic legalese, all the following without trauma, drama, or illness, without creating or recreating any situations for illustration or experience, and all with ease, grace, balance, harmony, joy, fun, excitement, adventure, love, and humor. Would you like it all for all versions of you, all times, all places, into the ever-expanding universe, to infinity and beyond? And would you like to receive all information via instantaneous and comprehensive download with fully conscious understanding in the moment of the version of you and timeline from which it is requested? And also, would you like all of these downloads regarding this clearing that come from Creator, all of Creator's perceptions and truths and understandings and definitions to replace yours for divine alignment. All of that. Let's go into the clearing. Would you like to receive Creator's truth, clarity, and understanding on the difference between the voice of the ego, the voice of the higher self, and the voice of Creator, and the voice of guides? Would you like to get Creator's truth on which is the highest and best to listen to, when and how to do that, how to hear it, how to understand it? Bring forward any situations that have yet to be resolved and processed, or processed and resolved, in all of your experiences as to when you felt like you listened to the higher self or Creator and you had been mistaken, and the perception versus the truth on those situations. Would you like to then pull all beliefs regarding I can't trust my higher self, regarding I have to hear the voice of Creator from elsewhere, or the voice of my higher self from elsewhere, because I can't trust listening to it myself, or I should listen to the voice of the ego above all others? Pull all those beliefs. Pull all fears, anxieties, anger, resentment, rejections. I think I covered that. That had to do with all those beliefs and all the situations. Pull the energy and memory of all those from the cellular level, as well as all self-limiting thoughts, words, and actions from the cells as well. Transform to Creator's light, send back to Creator. Close those receptors absolutely and permanently and open new ones, and saturate the cells with the highest vibration of Creator's unconditional love. And then heal, resolve, and clear the timeline, all directions to infinity with the platinum and violet flames, and download the beliefs: I can hear my higher self. I understand my higher self. I understand Creator, and I can hear Creator, and I'm allowed to. I'm allowed to hear my higher self. I'm allowed to hear Creator. And I am allowed to hear my guides of the highest light, the ones with only my highest and best intentions, the ones with only my highest and best as their intention. And to download all the feelings of knowing how to do that, of knowledge of how to do that, and the feelings of doing that, including also that you're deserving, worthy, and able to, that it's possible, allowed, okay, and safe too, that you're ready, willing, and able to, and you have that available to you right now. If you'd like all that, clear your mind, take a deep breath, and say, yes, higher self. And that's it. I'm going to let you go. Have a great one. Talk to you later in the week. This is Angela with today's Cup of Tea.